Okay, so we're going live here. And let's go here.
It's live.
To Instagram. And then Instagram, we're going live. All right. And we are live. And there goes my light. That's okay. All right. We are live on Facebook. Let me see. We don't have live on Facebook yet, but we're going to be live on Facebook. We are live on Instagram. And we are, let me see if I get my light back on. While everybody is chiming in and getting on. All this technology is fun stuff. Okay, there we go on that. Okay. All right. All right, Queens. This is Monday Night Live. We are live on Instagram and we're live on Facebook. Queens Don't Settle in our group. And we are excited tonight because, again, we have a special guest tonight. And we are just excited about this tonight. Now, on Facebook group, you're going to hear the interview, but you're not going to be able to see Dr. Jones on Facebook. But it's going to work out just fine the way that we have it. And we're going to go ahead and get started now. So let's go ahead and get this started. I just took out my phone, which I never hardly do. I'm not for sure why it did that. All right, some queens are coming on. All right, here we are. I believe so. If you are on Instagram, you will be able to write. I believe you'll be able to comment, and then also on in our Facebook group, you'd also be able to comment as well. Dr. Jones, we're so glad to have you tonight joining us. This is a powerhouse. This is a woman of God that is high in high demand. I would just say that. So I'm just glad to be able to get on her calendar. And let me just introduce her from what I have here. She is the CEO of KWC Financial Enterprises and Consulting. She's the founder of Victoria, I can't even say, Victory Church Ministries. She's the host and founder of Kingdom Purpose Talk Show. She's the founder of the Visionary Empowerment Collective Core Group. And so this is just a little bit of her. She does so much more than what she put on this little thing here. But we want to as we're introducing her to some, and some of you might already know Dr. Jones, but we're so glad to have you, Dr. Jones. And if you want to take a moment, you go ahead and say hello, do your intro the way that you want, and kind of tell a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Booker. I am Dr. Natasha Jones from Alabama. I am a learning and development specialist, a master relationship strategist, and also a digital marketing strategist. And I'm just excited to be here. Like you said, I do a lot, very multifaceted. And I truly believe in to whom much is given, much is required. And God gives us much because he can trust us to do with what he has for us to do with our gifts and our talents while we're here. And so I'm just excited to be here tonight and to dive into conversations, talking about relationships, situationships, entanglements, whatever we need to talk about to come up with the most best solution for the problem that is going on in the relationship industry. It's a lot going on, but guess what? As long as you got God in it, there's nothing you can't do in your relationships.
Yeah, and that is so true. That is so true. And so we're glad to have you and joining us tonight and everything. I guess one of the things, let me ask you this. So one of the things that I believe that the queens are having a problem with is because there's so many of them going through heartbreak and toxic relationships. How would you suggest that they begin to um and I don't want to say I don't even want to say that they're delaying healing because
Mhm.
everybody, but it seems to me like they're even delaying healing because it's like, why even get healed? Because I'm not going to get in a relationship.
Mhm.
So I want you to kind of talk about that a little bit as far as the importance of going ahead and getting healed, even if getting healed is for you.
Well, there's many ways to look at this. One, you can be healing and working on your process in the meantime of getting to know someone, because we don't know if that person God has for us is actually the antidote we need for the healing process. It may be that person that we meet and say, this is the nugget that you need to start your healing process. A lot of us, and I'm telling you from experience, will not be fully and totally healed when we get in these relationships. And it does not mean that we're bleeding, but when you understand your situation, you understand your process, you understand the hurt, you feel it, you embrace it, to not hold somebody else accountable, but to say, hey, I'm laying it all out on the table. Okay. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm dealing with. This is my truth. This is my vulnerability. And it's up between you and that partner to work together to mesh, to say, hey, let's come up with a solution. Ask questions. A lot of people are afraid to ask questions when it comes to relationships because they're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of what somebody may say. I may get judged. The abandonment spirit. Some people have been abandoned. They're afraid to be abandoned again. And that's why some people settle for just anything. But if you're wanting to get to know someone, I suggest that you do talk about healing, talk about an answer, a solution to what you're going through. Why are you repeating the same cycles? And a lot of times we have the broken wing syndrome as women. We want to fix everything. We want to build a bear. You want to put the wing on. You want to put the leg on. We're trying to do it all, and we're actually stepping in God's space for where God is supposed to do the work. We're trying to do His job, and He don't need us to do His job. He just needs us to walk in our femininity, walk in who we are and our identity, embrace what has happened to us, so that we don't continue to have the residue and carry the aroma of brokenness and keep attracting broken men based off the aroma that we're carrying, because they can smell if you're broken, they can see if you're broken. Okay, it's a certain aura, even your approachability of them coming to you. If they can approach you with ease and tap into your conversations and get you to tell them your pain, then they can study you and know how to come as a false representative. So all that stuff, it matters. When you're talking about healing, that mindset has to be in place to where you need to know that I need help, I have a situation, this is what it is, and I'm going to be honest. Because the more you hide and the more you push things under the rug, the more you're going to have a hill so high you can't see over it. And guess what happens when you don't deal with what's under the rug? It starts to come out.
Yeah, and that oh, I think you hit. Okay, go ahead. I think you hit mute on your end, and you were saying something.
Oh, yeah, I'm not mute.
Okay, I think what it is, I think there is a little delay. So okay, I think that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the process, so as we're streaming this, there is that delay there, but that's fine. We're gonna work with this. So that was really good. So and this is what I found out in the process of healing. Now watch this, because of what you just said. Because we're delaying our healing instead of going ahead and getting our healing, and I'm saying that we're delaying it because we're saying, I'm not going to get married. I'm not going to get married, or I'm not going to be in a relationship anyway. So let me just go ahead and I'm fine, But the problem is that they meet somebody, see? And when they meet somebody, then they go in, as you just said, they have this aroma. And so it's like, why am I in a relationship again with a toxic person? Is because just what you just said, because of the aroma that they're putting off, that these men are because they're not healed. are drawing themselves in this situation, instead of saying, no, I don't want to be in a relationship. That friendship, right,
Yeah,
turns into a relationship, and then now you have a situationship.
absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of times when that is approached and they do that, it's because toxic seems safe. I feel safe. I'm used to it. I'd rather have a piece of a man than no man. That mentality. And I can share a testimony this weekend. I actually had a conversation, and not to disclose any names, with an older woman. She's about 76 years old. She's been married 48 years to the same person that treats her like trash, treats her like garbage, doesn't do anything for her. And I asked her a question, said, why do you still stay? I said, you've been there 48 years. You know what he's like. You know he doesn't have your name on any property, any houses, anything. When he died, you're not going to get nothing. She said, because somewhere in my mindset, I still think he's going to change. She's waiting for a change that will never happen. And
Wow.
sometimes we keep waiting. And she's 78. I'm sorry, 78 years old. And she's going to die waiting. He's never going to change. And she knows it. And she told me, she said, because things are the way they are with the economy, I can't afford to be on my own. I would rather have that security than to be out and struggle and suffer and try to make it in this world. So she would rather have that man paying the light bill, paying the water bill, and you're broken and you're hurt and you're not fulfilled. It's a lot of women in situations like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that happening in everything. And it's so important that you you got to get healed.
Yeah.
You got to get healed. That's very important, that you got to get healed, because if you don't get healed, then what begins to happen is that you find yourself in that. So you brought up something that I wanted to ask you about. Now, the waiting part, and in fact, before I segue into that question, there are so many that are hurting, and in the process of hurting, they're not allowing themselves to get healed. So then there is this bitterness, and and I, of course, I deal with queens all the time, and we talk about dating, and so they find out that I'm a Christian dating and relationship coach, so they immediately say, I'm not dating anybody, I don't need nobody's help. Right. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like this anger, and it's like, wait a minute, I hasn't even said anything about dating. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't even approached you about dating. I just told you what I do. And what so I'm saying that because we're from my standpoint in helping the queen. My first point is that you want to be healed.
Mhm.
So where have we gotten in society that dating comes before healing?
Because that's what's been taught. I'll tell you,
Okay,
that's what's
okay.
been taught, that you date and then you heal. Okay. And when you said that, it made me realize how much society has shaped dating, and they have shaped the way it's supposed to look. It's like nobody's going back to the basics of the blueprint of what did God say about anything to do with relationship in general. The Bible does not specify dating, but it does have things that help us with relationships and what we are to be in expectation of. And a lot of people, a lot of women, they're not going by that. They're letting society tell them how to date, what to date, when to date, how long to date, who to marry, when to get married. And it's like, are we going to trust God, or are we going to trust society? You know? And I feel like we have to get back to the basics of what God has told us to do. And even in your identity, a lot of women are not healing with themselves. They're mad at themselves. They have not forgiven themselves. They have not forgiven hurt 20, 10, 15 years ago from an ex, and everybody is suffering, and you're bringing this hurt to a new relationship and wanting somebody else to pay for what another person has done, because we have to do the work, even though we don't want to. But that self-care mastery and just taking the time to get to know you, because when you date and you break up, there's another identity shift, and people don't even look at that. You have to put, because you're, first of all, you have a broken identity. You're not the same. So there's definitely an identity shift. And lately, the Lord has been dealing with me with restored identity. And when you're moving in these relationships and dating, your identity has to be restored.
Yes, yes, yes. That's really good. And somebody asked a great question. Are we ever 100% healed? And that's absolutely not. I mean, I
No.
think we're actually going through healing all the time.
Yes.
And that's where that growth comes in, that healing and growth all the time. It's amazing to me that I don't even want to give a percentage of women, but most women, not all, but most women, they tell me that they're single because of the toxic men, And my question to you is, how can we change? How can we change the dialogue from the man that's hurting? Because again, if you're hurting, how can you attract a healed man?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The only way, and this is coming from experience, expertise, and just observation, is men have to heal too. And it's a lot of work. They're not been taught to be vulnerable. They're not been taught to be emotionally available. They've been taught to pack their stuff in there. Don't cry, don't express yourself, don't be emotional. And we're getting that side of them when actuality they're hurt, they're broken. They need to be vulnerable. They need a safe space to come to and say, if I show you my scars, would you still judge me? If I show you my wounds, how would you deal with that? Instead of trying to judge me and say, well, you're not a good man. Just because he's broken doesn't not mean he's not a good man. Okay. He just has to do the work. And sometimes men need that extra safety net so they can land their plane, because they're flying and they're running out of gas and they don't have a safe landing strip. So guess what? If they don't have a safe landing strip, they'll rather crash than to land on something that's not safe. And they have to be safe because they are headship, they are our authority in our marriages, and we have to provide that space for them to say, hey, you can unpack here and we can go through it together. And a lot of times, I'm gonna be honest, us women, we can be naggy, we can be too much, it just can be overbearing, and we can throw things in their face that hurts them. And let me tell you something, once you hurt a man who is vulnerable with you, he will not unpack as easy as you think he would be vulnerable again. He will compartmentalize. He'll go to the gym. He'll go work out. Anything to keep from coming home to prison, because I have hell out there. I don't want hell when I come home. I need a palace and not a prison. Okay. I need a safe place to lay my head and not wonder if you're going to take my strength.
Yeah, yeah, that's really good there. That's really, really good there. Because I think so many times is what happening is that, and again, and this is why that healing is so much. And I'm trying to figure out how I can even get my messaging. It's not about dating. I'm not so much about dating. I'm more about you being healed.
Yes.
But, and the reason why I'm saying that is because if you think about it, if both parties are not fully healed, then both parties are not going to be able to be fully vulnerable.
Yep. They're afraid. It takes maturation. Like, it takes a mature person. Now, you will have some people who are in that maturation state and they know they're working on it because they come into agreement with one accord and say, hey, they're honest. But if you're not honest about your process and where you are in your healing process, then you're going to just be a false representative, and it's going to repeat the cycle, because honesty is key, and a lot of people do not want to be honest.
Right. That's right. So in saying that, I I believe that there's the question was 100% healed, and I don't believe that we're 100% healed. But I want to throw this out here because I think this is very important. As a woman, there is a possibility that you're in the process of not quite at the point where you're ready to date healed, but you meet a man who is able to, in the process, date you to your healing. What do you
Yes.
think about that?
Absolutely. And we can't be afraid because you just may miss it. Trying to judge a book by its cover, and you haven't even opened the book to even begin to read the first chapter. Okay. And so he may be that angel unaware that God has sent and say, hey, I've sent the boat by you 3 or 4 times and you out there drowning and you ain't even trying to get on the boat. And so that man can be there and not to get anything from you, but just to help walk you through the process because he's the antidote that you need. And when you have love, and I'm talking about real love, it releases that dopamine, it releases endorphins, it releases things in your body physically by nature that you need to heal you, because a lot of times when you're hurt and you're broken, you'll have issues that come up in your body and diseases, and it's not a disease, it's dis-ease. It means you need to be working on the process of healing so that someone can love you and be okay with saying, hey, I'm in this process, I'm working on being healed. And he comes in and say, you know what, I'm gonna love you where you are, and I'm honest, and I'm gonna walk with you. But you have to allow him to come in. You have to allow him to start building that trust and that rapport that you need with him by action. Watch his actions. Watch how he treats you. Listen to what he has to say instead of automatically assuming, "Oh, I don't want to do this." You're counting out the very person that may be your person. But when you have that unhealed mindset and that somebody's gonna always hurt you, and you're not worthy to be loved, you're not worthy to be a wife, you're not worthy of it, then you're going to keep repeating the same cycle. But when you understand that you're worthy and I am enough, even in my healing process, somebody else can be with me and I can heal with them and we can walk through this thing together. That's real love, okay? Because it's going to be times you get in your marriage, it's going to be times you get in relationships, and he may break your heart. He may do something you don't like. She may do something you don't like. Are you going to walk away? Okay. Are you going to keep walking away and keep, called dissociative identity, disassociating yourself because I'd rather go here than to feel it? So some things we got to learn how to feel, and you got to learn how to kneel and pray. Okay. Feel and kneel your way to healing. And once you get in that healed posture, some of us even got to go to the next level, because let me tell you, the man at the pool, he says, do you want to be made whole? He didn't say, do you
Mm-hmm.
want to be healed?
Mm-hmm.
Some situations, either you want to be made whole or you don't. It's up to you to stop saying, I'm waiting for somebody to put me in the pool. I'm waiting for somebody to come and heal me. Guess what? I want to be whole. And you can immediately wake up and say, you know what? I'm a whole individual. And you walk in a whole posture.
Yes, yes, yes. That is so good. That is so good, because so many times, and we thank all of the queens for joining us tonight. And if you have any question or anything, you can drop it in the comments there. I do see those comments. And again, if it's registering with you, let me know where you are. Let us know where you are looking at us. And but this is very good, because, and again, I didn't mean to go there, but we're there on the healing issue, and I think it's so important that we, as we're healing, if you focus so much on the hurt, how do you even know that you're healed? How do you even know that you're wanting and desiring? You could be actually being healed on your process, in the process of being healed, but you're so focused on hurt, you're so focused on protecting yourself, you're so focused on don't leave me alone, that you miss the process of not only the man coming into your life, but also the process of you actually growing.
Yes, absolutely. And we don't want to miss the process because of pain. I'm telling you, if that's the case, just like physical pain, if you cut your arm, guess what? It has to heal. You got to nurture it. You got to cultivate it. You got to put your wound care on there. You got to treat it. If it's deeper wounds, deeper cuts, deeper hurts that you've been hurt, then it's gonna take a different kind of care. Every pain and every wound and every hurt is not the same care.
Yes,
And a lot of
yes,
people are nursing wounds exactly the same way, but they're deeper wounds. It can be trauma from childhood, it can be trauma from anything. And you have to know, how do I nurture and nurse this wound? What do I need to be healed? Analyze and look at the different parts of hurt That way you know where to put what at. Because if you don't analyze it and you're just trying to pack all of it up and I'm trying to just heal at one time, then you're not going to be healed, because there's deeper cuts. There are deeper, some are deeper than others.
Yes, yes, that's so true. And it's amazing because most of the clients that I help in that dating process and that healing process, and even though we start on dating and we go to the healing, but we start with healing, many of my clients have already gone through uh, being seen by a counselor or even by a therapist, and so they've already started that process of. And then many of the things that I'm teaching within my program, we're seeing what we're talking about. They've seen it with their therapist, and I think so many times it's so good to be repetitive and uncovering some things and rediscovering, what happened in the childhood, what's going on with the childhood traumas, what's going on with the toxic relationships, and we think that one all fits all, and I'm just gonna basically pray and give it to God and it's gonna be okay. But
Yeah.
no, there has to be some work.
Yeah. Absolutely. And even when they go through those sessions of unpacking trauma from previous trauma and rehearsing it and reliving it, you really, if it's been deep trauma, you really need to be under a therapist and somebody professional before you unpack. Because a lot of times people are unpacking and they don't have anybody professional or somebody that can help them get back on track, and they lose it and they get
Mhm.
even more damaged, even more scared, even more afraid, and they end up doing more damage than it was before because you was not ready to unpack.
Yeah, yeah. That I mean, and that's so true. I want to slide into this real quickly. And again, we thank everyone for joining us tonight. And I'm just here to serve any way that we can. So again, any question that you guys have, you can pose them. But the waiting game, I think I think so many times is that we think that God is just going to drop that man. In fact, they even have a post out there. I know you guys have seen it, that unless God sends him and drops him in my lap, I'm not going to say yes or anything, right? But the question is that there has to be some work with the weight. And I'll just leave it right there. Some work with the weight.
Absolutely. In the process when you're waiting, you still need to be working. You can't just be waiting and waiting and waiting. And there's inner work. I go to different groups every morning and I get poured into and I get self-care mastery and I'm loving myself, and I'm keeping up with myself and I'm walking in my femininity and my feminine energy. I'm not dominant and trying to be an alpha this and an alpha, I don't like that. Okay. And a lot of women, they do that because it's a sense of security for them. In actuality, you really want to be in your soft girl era, and a lot of pride. There's so much pride while people are waiting. That's why a lot of people say that. A lot of women, well, I'm gonna wait on God, and a lot of God's like, no, you ain't waiting on me because I'm God. You don't have to wait on me.
Mm-hmm.
I've given you the green light to do the work. I've given you the instructions. I've put the sources in front of you. You have support groups. You have resources. What is the issue? Because you're not waiting on me because I'm in control of everything. And he doesn't force free will. Everybody has a free will choice to choose. Do I stay here or do I move forward? Okay. Do I do the work or do I sit here and worry? Am I going to sit here and whine and have a pity party, or am I going to get up and have a praise party? Am I going to make excuses? Am I going to make results? Okay. I feel like if any person can get up and go to work, you can get up and clock in, you can get up and do what those employees tell you to do. You can wear pink, wear purple, whatever they tell you, then you can get up and do what God says do. You can get up and clock in just like God said, clock in about your purpose, your identity, get healed so that you can, or be in your process so that you can get what's worth waiting for. And while you're waiting, you activating your faith, not only your faith, but you got motion and action, because faith without working, I'm sorry, it's dead. You got to put in the work. And what I mean by putting in work is not always manual hard labor. The work is obedience. If you're not obedient, you're not going to see the fruit of the land.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And as you was alluding to earlier, you were talking to somebody 76. So in the process of that, age, as Aaliyah would say, age is nothing but a number. It doesn't matter your age, but at some point something's gonna have to click in your mind. Hey, look, I'm getting older,
Yes.
right? I'm getting older, so I'm going to need to start doing some things differently.
Yes.
And if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same result. If you be the same person, you're going to keep getting the same result. So I think a lot of times you're just going to need to go ahead and let go and really honestly submit really to God. So
Yeah.
then that when God, now I didn't say the independent woman, but you brought it up, so that when the man does show up, she's able to be vulnerable, able to submit to him because she's already. Um, and I think that's the problem right there. I think many times is that we say, quote unquote, we're submitted to the Lord. We're saying that we're following Him, but when it comes down to it, are we really following Him? So that when He sends you His one of His children, His sons, you can't submit to him because you really haven't submitted to the Lord. Talk about that for a minute.
Absolutely, because they're not following him. Most of them are following them. They're
Mm,
following society. They're following opinions. They're following what somebody said. If I was you, I would do that. Let me tell you, these people that keep telling you, if I was you, they ain't gonna leave they bail, they boo. You're gonna be boo-less and they're gonna be booed up. Okay. And they said you don't know what they over there taking. A lot of times they don't want to see you happy. So they're gonna sow seeds of discord. They're gonna sow seeds of malice. They're gonna sow seeds of negativity into your life and have you walking away from the very thing that God has for you based on what they think or what they feel, but have you sought the Father? Have you even asked God on my behalf? Have you even prayed? Did God give you an answer? Okay. That's why I don't take a lot of opinions when people say, I feel like this and I feel like that. Well, what does God feel like? What has God said? Because y'all just tell me what y'all feel like. Okay. And a lot of times, I'm telling you, they'll make you leave your good thing and they be waiting by the trash can when you dump them so they can pick them up, brush them off, and take them on in. Because let me tell you, it happened to me before. I had a very, very, very best friend. She ended up marrying one of my exes.
mm,
So it happens.
wow. Wow, that's what I said. You got to be careful because what you calling trash, somebody can find treasure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, that's very good. I'm not going to tell you. I know you're very busy. I know you're a very busy mom, and we have moms on here as well. I try not to do long our lives on Monday, but
Mhm.
when we have a special guest and things like that, we do it. But I want you to. Is there anything on your heart that you want to share with the queens tonight as we come to serve them?
Absolutely. I want you guys to understand how important it is to have a mindset of desiring wanting to be a wife. Okay. A lot of people are saying it with their mouths, like they say, Lord, Lord, but your heart's so far from it. You're saying it with your mouth, but your heart is far from it. And men can tell that. Okay. And if you actually want and desire that, then you're gonna have to get on your face and get before God. Some things come by fasting and praying. I'm sorry, you ain't fasted from Facebook. You ain't fasted from texting. You ain't went through your phone and deleted the black book. Okay. I'm telling it like it is. And some of us are entertaining too many people. And you want a husband, but you have all these spirits and things attached to you. And soul ties is more than in sex, okay? Soul ties can be emotional conversation. It can be things that's tied to you that is draining you. And he said, well, God, I want a husband. And God was like, well, you got 50 million husbands, all these people. So we have to really get about our business and be real kingdom feminine women that are waiting and working while we're waiting for our husbands to find us, because he's going to find us working in the fields. He's going to find us working in purpose. He's going to find us gleaning. Okay. He's going to find you not nagging. Okay. But being on that potter's wheel and knowing God is shaping me and I'm here and I'm visible, because guess what? Adam did not chase Eve. She was placed in front of him. And that man will understand placement. And when he turned to her, he saw a reflection of him. So when these men find you, are they seeing you? Are they seeing them? You got to realize what they're looking for. They're looking for a suitable helper that is tailor made for where they are going, not where they are now. But do you fit my destiny? Do you fit where I'm going? Are you suitable? Do you fit me? Okay. Can I put the coat on of you and you fit me? It's a
Yeah,
lot of people putting coats on. Are they too tiny or are they too big?
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
not your coat. And we have to make sure that we are the coats that our husbands are looking for.
Yes, yes, yes. That is so important. And you brought up something else, but we have the women so much today that are so busy. Do they even have time to be a suitable helpmate?
Women make time for what they want to make for. A lot of them are staying busy because they don't want to be hurt. They too busy trying to get the bag. And I'm gonna tell you about getting the bag, okay? We need to be getting God, okay? Too busy trying to get in the bag will make you miss out on your blessing, because He's not going to see you as a wife. He's going to see you as a working woman that works all the time and don't have time for Him. And we have to have balance. It's okay to be secure and get the bag, but understand you're trying to get the bag because you're afraid He ain't going to be supportive and help you financially. And we're trying to do it all by ourselves. And so when He stepped to the table, you're like, well, I got a house, I got a car, I got money, I got this, I got, your whole list go on and on and on. And he's looking like, well, what in the world, what do you need me for? What do I fit in at? Okay. And we don't want to give off that aroma that we're too busy and we got it all in the bag and we don't need you. Guess what? If we didn't need them, God would never said it's not good for man to be alone. Let me make you a suitable helper. Okay. It's to take the load off, to take the ease off, to take, I believe in everything being equally balanced. Okay. You having him, he having you, you guys working together. You don't have to work as hard as you think. You're just working hard because you want to work hard. But when you really let go and let God give you strategy, give you innovative, creative things that you can do for when your husband do find you, it's a smooth transition and it's a celebratory moment. And it's a moment of peace. It's a moment of joy. It's a moment of thanksgiving, and gratitude that, what, now I can breathe, because a lot of you have been holding your breath since you've been in the womb and you have not breathed yet. And now it's time for you to just breathe. He's saying, just let me do it and just breathe and pray to God. And while you're praying to Him, continue to work on you to make sure you carry the posture and the aroma of a wife, to make sure that you're soft spoken, to make sure that you're not easily angered, to make sure, are you First Corinthians 13? Take love out and put your name there and then read that whole chapter and see where you fit in at. Making sure that we're polishing ourselves in the word and next to what God has for us to do. So when we make that transition, our husbands will know. I'm telling you, men know what they want. And they don't want nobody boisterous and ratchet and loud and want to be show offy. Men, they don't like a lot of makeup. I'm telling you, you might want to cake it up if you want to, but I've talked to a lot of them. They like natural beauty. They love a soft-spoken woman that brings that out of him to where he can be vulnerable. And if you change the way you think and change the way you speak, we will see a difference in the way men approach us and then the way men call us and want to call us their wives.
Yeah, yeah, that's really good. That's really good because it's so many times, and she's asking the question, do men? I think the same thing that we're talking about as women. You have to understand this: as there's light, there's darkness. So if you're a good woman, then there has to be a good man.
Yes.
I mean, you can't have it. You can't if you have a bad man, you got to have a bad woman. So I'm saying that as an encouragement to you. Absolutely, what we're talking about tonight. There's a man that's struggling, that's looking for a husband that's going to. I mean, not a man. There is a man that's looking for a wife, just like you're looking for that good husband.
Yeah.
And the reason why they cannot meet is because we're not attracted to each other because we're not ready to be attracted to each other.
Yeah. And I'll give you one tip. I was in a male group this week, coaching and talking to a lot of men that were getting their breakthroughs and their healings, and they were being vulnerable. They were pouring out, and they was giving me, I'm telling you, nuggets on as to why why they're not picking wives. Because for one, they say you're out of place. So I'll give you this nugget. When you go out to eat, they say women hide in the corner in the back somewhere, and we sit in the booth by ourselves doing us. We independent and we dating ourselves. And they was like, well, we can't see you back there. So I'm gonna tell you where they want to find you at, and I hope y'all ready. Y'all drop some fire in the chat. Y'all drop some ones. Say I'm ready to get this nugget. When you go to a restaurant, anywhere that you go, just like if I was in class, I always wanted to sit in the front. I don't care. I ain't missing nothing the teacher saying. Well, whoever walked through the door, you're gonna see me first. That's what they want. They want to see you first. So these guys, they said, if you sit at the bar, you ain't gotta be drinking. That's the first thing they go to, is because there's TVs, there's sports, and the first thing they see when they come in that place, they say they're scouting and looking, is this the one today? Is they're on a hunt, but they're hunting like they hunt. They're not gonna hunt like we think they gonna hunt. Okay, it ain't always be at the altar, the church, and the pulpit. Okay, it random places like that. Are you visible? Are you to where they can see you? You could be drinking your water, your lemon, and that guy come up to you, and that could be your person, because guess what? He saw you. He's looking for that. You carry that aroma. You're sitting there, especially in front of sports and TVs, because men love sports and TVs, okay? And he's able to approach you and have that conversation because you're in place.
Yeah, that's good right there. That's good. And again,
Come out of hiding was what they were saying. Don't hide.
don't, because a part of that hiding is, even if you have, you have like 5 or 6 bags, and somebody comes over and he be like, "Can I help you with your bag?" No, I got it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah. So
absolutely. You ain't got to be strong all the time.
All right, that's good. That's really good. All right, well, we're not gonna detain. If any, Queen, we thank y'all for joining us again tonight. This has been really, really, really good. We thank you, Dr. Jones, for coming. If for a moment, just kind of tell the people where they can find you and where they can reach out to you at, and things like that.
Well, my major platform is Facebook. Okay. I do have Instagram and TikTok, but I'm not on there as frequent as Facebook. So just shoot me a friend request or shoot me a DM and say, "Hey, Dr. Natasha, I saw you on the podcast tonight and I would like to connect," and I'll be glad to connect with you.
Yeah, that's good. I think now I might have got one of those fake pages of yours, but I think I sent you a connection request, and I think you had like 26 people. So I said, no, I'm gonna unfollow her. I don't
no, I only got one page.
Yes, she's not on here. All right. Well, this has been great. We thank you again for your time and everything, Queens. We thank you, and hopefully there's something that's been said that we've been able to help you. Again, it's my aim to see that you're healed, to see you go from single to successfully dating, to be into that healthy relationship that leads into that loving, lasting marriage. And so we're so glad that you joined us. Make sure that you know. MC next. What's the date? Today's the 15th.
Yes.
15th. Then we got the 20th. See, next Monday would be what?
I think 22nd.
And then the 29th. The 29th, I'm gonna do a webinar. I'm gonna do a webinar on Monday for Monday Night Live. I'll get all that information to you guys, but put that on your calendar. Monday, the February 29th, I'm going to be doing a webinar, and we're going to be talking about this: attracting the right people, dating tips, and all types of things. So make sure that you get that. We'll give that. It's going to be absolutely free. You'll see the page in the link and for all of that. Well, Queens, we thank you for joining us tonight. It's been another great Monday Night Live. Monday Night Lives, we're doing everything that we can to serve you, to help you again. We want to see you healed. We want to see you on your journey to that Boaz is to you, because you have that desire to be in a relationship. That desire, I'm sorry to say that desire did not come from the devil. It didn't come from the devil. And if it came from God, then why would he cause you to have a desire to be in a relationship, a desire to be married, and then not supply it? That's not the kind of God that we serve.
Right.
And so all you have to do is yield to him and let him be God. So we thank God for you tonight, and for all of you. You guys, we always say, Queens don't settle. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Dr. Jones. You brought it tonight. We thank you for coming and sharing with us tonight. And now we're going to end tonight. I think that's all I have to say. Yeah. Now I got to figure out how to end this, but
you just click end live at the top.
Yeah. I have to go back to StreamYard. Y'all, thank y'all for y'all patience on this, because I'm learning this. All right. You guys have a great night. Remember, queens don't settle.